regulation question has been out there because it's one of these weird things where it's like, okay, the futures are regulated, but the underlying thing is only regulated very loosely at best. How do they address those concerns?
So they talk about kind of like what processes they've gone through in setting up a futures exchange to actually try and kind of get comfortable with whether there's manipulation. And they say that really, if you wanted to manipulate Bitcoin, you'd have to be capable of manipulating the entire market because there are so many different platforms out there. And they don't think that that is particularly a feasible possibility. So that's kind of how they sort of get comfortable with that possibility.
How does SIBO win here if they're not just sending a letter for their health, right? So they sent this letter. They have the futures. If they were to approve a Bitcoin ETF or ETP or whatever, how does SIBO?
So they've talked about having an entire kind of crypto suite going on amongst their kind of different platforms. They'd like to be able to list these products. Obviously, SIBO owns BATS, which is the key listing venue for exchange traded products. So I think they see this as kind of like sort of trying to put themselves out there as the place to go for crypto, whether it's kind of Bitcoin futures, other derivative-based products, or exchange-traded products.
And just a reminder here, any of the issuers that wanted to issue Bitcoin ETFs, they've all withdrawn their applications, right? There's none pending with the SEC.
Yeah, so the SEC's kind of like message from their letter in January was sort of like, quit bugging us. We'll get to you when we've kind of made a decision. So, I mean, there were more than 15 products that had kind of been filed for approval. Some of them looking for leverage, some of them looking at inverse, which is kind of, pretty intense when you think about this being on Bitcoin as well, right? So generally more exotic kind of stuff. So all of those are kind of being pulled back as everybody waits to sort of see what the tone from the SEC is going to be. And it certainly feels at the moment that they're really trying to get a handle on what Bitcoin is at a very sort of basic level before they actually think about futures and exchange traded products on those.
So my first question I want to pose to the audience is I don't really feel like the SEC should be involved because my personal opinion is that cryptocurrencies, especially something like Bitcoin, is a commodity, not a security. And if you've watched this channel, I've posted plenty of content that kind of goes into that analysis. So in my opinion, I don't see these cryptocurrencies being regulated. Obviously there's different types of tokens, so the other tokens that are not a currency like Bitcoin or Litecoin, I can see them maybe going through SEC regulation, but an actual currency, it just doesn't make sense. I feel like cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is a commodity. Another really interesting aspect of this is the fact the ETF applications have been withdrawn, and that is not good news because we really do need ETFs in this market to help bring in the baby boomers, because millennials, they're pretty tech savvy. For me, it was like no problem. It took like a little bit of time, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first got into cryptocurrency, I put in a very small amount, less than 0.1% of my investments, and it really took me about 3 months of just watching it grow, and I kind of regret this, but yeah, I didn't really move into a serious position till like October, even though I had invested in July. And obviously if you knew about the market in 2017, it was a great time, and I unfortunately missed the boat per se, but it's a really interesting conversation to have. And what is a cryptocurrency, and is it a commodity? How should it be regulated? And like I said, only time will tell. We'll see what the SEC does, and I really do hope that we push this ETF moving forward, because as you can tell, since February this crypto market has been dead. And we had a bounce, and now we're back almost to the same lows in February, which is really disappointing. But once again, I'm still optimistic. I still am believing in a market cap of 1 trillion, and I just feel like we need some catalysts or good news to kind of get this going. And one of them would be proper regulation from the SEC and other government entities. But let me know what you think, and I'm happy to say we hit 5,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And if you have a chance, please share this with your friends. And thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.